What's going on, everybody? I'm Mara.
And I'm Taz.
And welcome back to Sisters Who Kill. It's my money. I want it. I want to keep it.
Our players this week are Yoko Colon, our victim, DeMarcus Barnes, our accomplice, Daquan Barnes, DeMarcus's nephew. She said nephew.
Everybody says cousin, but she says nephew, uncle.
But like, they did the same thing with like
a couple of
Quavo and Offset.
Yeah, because they're so close in age.
Right. Daquan Barnes, DeMarcus's nephew, cousin, and accomplice, and LaTosha Cunningham, our murderess.
LaTosha A. Cunningham also went by the nickname Net, and she was born on November 9th, 1973. She was born and raised in East St. Louis, Illinois, and she always had dreams of traveling. She wanted to see Atlantic City. She wanted to see the world, and the world see her. They want to see all of her, but she never really got that opportunity. Now, she was raised in the church, and she enjoyed being around her family. And by the time she was 18 years old, she found out that she was pregnant. Was she at the 18?
I just imagine coming straight out of high school and then
boom, a mom. It was hard for her, and she was really trying to make ends meet, it seems like, because she had her baby in 1993, but she had that baby behind bars because in 1992, while she was pregnant, she robbed an old lady. So this is what happened. There was this old lady that was a retired Landshire employee, and LaTosha asked for a ride. And the lady said, okay, sure, I'll give you a ride. No worries, no fuss, no fight. And then LaTosha had a gun on her, and she was like, give me all your money. What? Give me all your money. And LaTosha then shoots this 61-year-old woman in the chest and robbing her. She leaves with $205. Now, the woman survives this shooting, and she says, I know exactly who shot me. Her name is LaTosha. I gave her a ride. They go to get LaTosha, and LaTosha's like, who, me? It couldn't be. Then who? I don't know. They put her in a lineup. That woman identifies. She said, that one right there, that's the one who shot me. Again, she said, who, me? Couldn't be. Does the lineup again, and the lady says again, that is the woman that was in my vehicle that shot me in the chest. So LaTosha gets sentenced to 18 years in prison. She ends up only serving 9 years. But I'm not sure what happened to her child at the time because she gave birth in prison. And so when she gets out, she has another child. She had a girl first. Then she has a boy. And I don't believe that she had custody of any of her children. At least not her oldest. But she wanted to be a good mom. So she says. Now, she's a girl, and girls fantasize about their lives. And she said that, at some point she thought that maybe she would get married. And I think when you have children, you do at least think about the idea of marriage, right? And that just never came to fruition for her. But she always wanted to be. And she spent a lot of time with her family members that were around, one of which was her niece, Brittany, and her niece, Brittany boyfriend.
So LaTosha has a niece, Brittany Stevenson. Brittany has her boyfriend, DeMarcus Barnes, who's 28. DeMarcus be hanging out with his nephew cousin, Daquan D. Rugg Barnes, who is 18. Don't ask me where Rugg came from. I don't
Rugg
know.
is definitely an interesting nickname.
He was snug as a bug in a rug. I don't know. But, as Brittany is dating DeMarcus, I guess LaTosha spends a lot of time with Brittany, therefore having her spend a lot of time with DeMarcus, therefore having her to spend a lot of time with DeMarcus and Daquan. Because Brittany and DeMarcus weren't even together that long. before all this takes place.
Mm-hmm. I guess
Now-
they're their type of family. It's like, bring them over.
That, or maybe DeMarcus and LaTosha were friends before, and then Brittany started dating DeMarcus afterwards.
Maybe.
But
Everybody hanging out
DeMarcus and
now.
LaTosha, cool. They got a friendship going on. Something they had in common was their checkered past. They didn't, follow the law too tightly. In addition to breaking laws, they both also enjoyed a good game of bingo. Who doesn't? I myself fancy a game of bingo.
Bingo's my favorite way to gamble.
You know what I mean?
I
got it.
I love bingo.
Give me 10 sheets. I'm ready to go.
Don't talk to me. I got the marker out. I'm quiet.
They would go and they would play down at the Fireman's Hall. On Wednesdays, that was the night to bingo. Okay, Wednesday night is bingo night. There was this woman, a lady who lived near LaTosha. Her name was Yoko Colin, and she lived less than a mile away from Tasha. She too liked a good game of bingo.
Yeah.
So Yoko M. Colin was born on April 23rd of 1926 in Nagoya, Japan. She was born to her parents, Takisaburo and Yoneko, and she had 5 brothers, Shotoro, Tokinori, Masao, Haruchi, and Hideko. While in Japan, she met her husband of almost 50 years, a U.S. soldier, Gordon F. Cullen. I was going to say, that's a very white name for her to be Japanese. That'll do it.
No. She found herself an American man over there. From America. Serving his country.
I'm telling you.
And said, take me with you. We're in love. And they were.
They were. The two of them, 50 years of marriage, right?
Right.
The two of them got married on February 27th of 1956 and went on to have 5 children together. Margaret Cullen, Rita Cullen, Susan Cullen, Janet Shearer, and Joseph Cullen. They just whitened them kids up, didn't they? Yoko did have a pretty tough life growing up because her dad died. I don't know if both her parents died, but her dad died when she was young, like 12. And I don't know if her dad was just the last of her parents to die or if this is just a rule in Japan. But once he passed, she was head of household. And because she was the oldest sibling. And so she was then responsible for all of her brothers and sisters.
By the time she was 12 years old, she was working full time.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of everybody.
Taking care of everybody. She was head of household, and that just was what it was. So it was kind of rough out there, which probably explains why all these kids just made for a bigger family. She also had 4 grandkids and 1 great-grandchild. Man, I hope it make it be a great-grandparent. That's a goal of mine.
Really?
But don't be having kids young to make me do it, Just let me live well and able and be able to move long.
Yoko was able to. At this story, Yoko is 85 years old, still driving herself around, still going down to bingo by herself. Nothing is really stopping her. And here it is. It's May 18th, 2011. DeMarcus, Daquan, they over at the John DeShields Projects, just kicking it, hanging out. And LaTosha, she sees them there because she's riding through. LaTosha said that she ain't never met Daquan until now. But a lot of people are trying to figure out how is that possible, especially how much Daquan and DeMarcus be together. And DeMarcus for sure. So they're all sitting there, they're kicking shit for a little while. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they smoking a blunt or just hanging out. And LaTosha was like, man, I needs to rob the bingo hall. Now, here's the very interesting thing. In 2011, LaTosha has another child. I am not sure if she's already had this child or if she is currently pregnant. However, there's a new life in the mix. Her womb is about to go through it or has gone through it very recently. And she's talking. She's like, man, I got to make ends meet. I know there's somebody down there at the bingo hall with some cash money.
A little extra cash they don't need.
Listen, somebody down there. She was like, all right, let's go down to the bingo hall, sit out there, post up there, and see if there's somebody that we can get a quick little 1-2 on. But the thing is, I don't have a gun. Y'all got a gun?
Look who you talk to.
Yeah, I mean, we got a gun. And sometimes we can just intimidate on our own. So everybody gets in LaTosha's car and they head down to the Fireman's Hall in Collinsville, Illinois. Inside of the hall, Yoko is having a good night. Apparently, she has good nights pretty often. Like, she not new to it. She true to this. But tonight, she won $60. And that ain't bad.
It ain't.
Last time I played bingo, I lost $50. So, she doing better than me. And so this is Wednesday, of course. It's bingo night. Bingo lets out. People are walking to their car. LaTosha's kind of scoping the scene. DeMarcus is kind of scoping the scene because he's been there before, too. And they're like, oh, look, there go Yoko. There go that old Asian lady. I bet she got some. And so they decide that they're going to follow her. They follow this woman while she is driving, and Yoko's brakes mess up. So she pulls over. And LaTosha and DeMarcus and Daquan are like, well, this is a great opportunity for us. They pull over. Excuse me, ma'am, you okay? You need any help? She's like, I don't know, something wrong with my car.
Thinking you got some good Samaritans helping you out.
You know what I'm saying? And Daquan,
thank God these people have stopped and checked on me. What is my 85-year-old ass gonna do?
Listen, so she gets out of the car. She's like, these are two well able-bodied young men. She gets out of the car. She's talking to them for a little while. They're looking at her brakes, trying to figure out what's going on. And LaTosha takes the keys out of her car and takes her purse out of the car and puts it in the trunk of her own car. While they're trying to figure out, and I can only imagine that these guys probably don't know anything about cars, and they just like
just looking,
hands on the
that hood and said,
"Huh, let me look under the car,
You don't say.
Maybe we need a crowbar." Tries to get one out. Then Yoko's like, where's my purse? Where are my keys? Hey, lady, did you take my stuff? And this kind of spooked LaTosha. Maybe they were taking too long. They should have just hopped back in the car. But they were taking too long. LaTosha's like, oh, shit. DeMarcus Daquan. She know I done stole her purse and her keys. We be at the bingo hall together. She know my face. She got my license plate. We're going to have to kill her.
So DeMarcus and Daquan grab Yoko and they put her in the trunk of her own car. And she puts up a bit of a fight because, of course, what do you think you're doing? But they slam the trunk on her and they follow LaTosha as she drives her own car. And they just are driving Miss Yoko's gray 2008 Mazda 3. They all go to this area out in East St. Louis. Apparently, there's this area where y'all like to leave stolen cars and set them on fire.
It's a spot.
It's a thing.
It's a spot
that y'all do.
Because y'all scared of y'all. Q boys in Atlanta ain't got nothing on y'all.
I'm telling you, go to the fire pit up the street. Like, what?
And if your car's there, you done.
Daquan called it a back lot. He was like, we're going to head to the back lot. And so the whole time he's driving, Daquan can hear Yoko in the trunk. Help, let me out. What are y'all doing? Please don't hurt me. Please, please let me out. Help, please. Why are you doing this? I'm just an old lady. Please, I've got kids. I've got grandkids. I've got great grandkids. I've got a dog that's waiting on me to feed him at home. Please, somebody help. Now, at first, LaTosha's leading the way. Then Daquan is like, no. That ain't where it's at. Follow me. So Daquan takes the lead, and Tasha is now following in her car. As they're following, LaTosha catches a flat. Car trouble is in abundance today. So she's got a flat tire. Yoko's still in the trunk. Don't know how Yoko's brakes started back up working, but they did.
And they pulled both cars over. Because we gotta,
I'm following you. Like
LaTosha ain't finna change this flat with two able-bodied men right here.
I tell you what.
So she's got to get these men to go ahead.
Daquan, come here, youngie.
Okay? You don't know how to... You're going to learn how today. You're going to learn how to do it.
I refuse. So Daquan gets out, changes her tire. They continue on their trail to the back lot. They're driving off the intersection of 11th Street and Fallen Springs. And they get to the drop-off spot and they begin ransacking Yoko's car. And they're not finding much. Except for what they found, $390? Mm-hmm. $390 from her bingo winnings in her purse. And it was like, well, shit, divide this up. That's $130 for you, and $130 for you, and then $130 for me. So then it was like, well, shit. She got some credit cards in here. Ask debit cards, whatever cards. Get the PIN number from her. Hey, lady, what's the PIN? She was like, I don't know the PIN. I'm old. I got to call my daughter for it. Hey, lady, I don't want to hear all that.
You know this PIN.
What's the PIN? Is it your birthday? What's your birthday? Is it your social? What's the last four of your social?
Tell me.
What is the PIN? I don't know my PIN. Please, you have to stop. Hey, lady, we ain't in the mood for these games. Give us the PIN. I don't want to have to hurt you. Please don't hurt me. I'm telling you. I'd have to call you. You ain't calling nobody. Okay, this is what you ain't gonna do. So you might want to get that noggin thinking, what's the PIN? Yoko tell these fools you don't know what the PIN is. So then Yoko tries to get out the trunk because none of them are listening to her. They ain't got the good sense God gave them. LaTosha whacks her on the head. Not once, not twice, but thrice with a tire iron that she grabbed from the trunk of the car. At this point, all three of them begin hitting Yoko with the tire iron, repeatedly asking her, give us the PIN. Give us the PIN to your debit card. Give us the PIN. Yoko, don't make me hit you again. Give us the goddamn PIN. Yoko still doesn't tell them the PIN because she still don't know it. They thought they was going to beat it back into her. They didn't. And they force her back into the trunk and they shut it. And Daquan tells LaTosha, just let her go. And LaTosha says, no, we have to kill her. She saw my license plate. She gone find us, y'all. Don't you know once you start something, you got to finish it? So it's about 11 p.m. around midnight, and they drove back to a BP gas station in LaTosha's car. They're right across the street from City Hall, and they get a container, and they fill it with gas. Daquan fills it up, and everybody is all outside the car, all of them. Because what are surveillance cameras and witnesses? Y'all all stood out in the...
They have it at the gas station.
Y'all all stood outside the car.
At the BP, they definitely have it.
And held a conversation.
Probably smoked a cigarette right next to the gas station. I'm just kidding. Yeah, better not have.
Having a conversation about Yoko being in the trunk of the car at the dump site.
And LaTosha's over there like, it needs to be done. It has to be finished.
Well, they start driving back to Yoko's car. And LaTosha's like, let me stop short. Don't want my car spotted up here by the crime. You know what I'm saying? Got to be 2 steps ahead. So we're going to park 2 blocks away. We're going to walk the rest of the way. Everybody understand? So they walk and Daquan opens the trunk and he's like, hey, Yoko already dead. Maybe Yoko was playing dead. Maybe Yoko was just tired of fighting, got a little short of breath or whatever. But she was looking pretty dead back there, you know? And she might have been fighting for dear life. It might have been one of them things with an ambulance arrive and they be like, oh my God, look, she's still alive. There's a pulse. Yeah. Right. But like you would have thought she was dead. They think she's dead. And so
I almost believe that she was playing dead.
You think so?
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't expect what's about to happen next. If they open the trunk and they're like, she dead, close it.
LaTosha says, well, since she's already dead, let's burn up the car. Time to burn up the car. So Daquan pours gas in the trunk, pours gas in the passenger side, pours gas all over the outside of the car. DeMarcus looks on the ground and he finds a white t-shirt, says, hold on, let me get back. Lights the t-shirt, tosses the t-shirt. Car goes. Now they all run back because you ever start a little fire and you throw the gasoline and go, and it's a little bigger than you expected it to be. A little lighter fluid or whatever.
They scared themselves.
You had to set the whole car on fire. Mind you, the gas in the tank once it get there, so it's a, you know? So they all run. LaTosha and DeMarcus run in the direction of LaTosha's car and Daquan runs in a different direction. And they end up having to circle around, pick Daquan up. Daquan said, I didn't know I was going, but that flame was big. Okay.
Glad everybody good.
Look, yeah. Everybody still got their eyebrows. Shit.
Got scared.
Listen.
There's Yoko in her car, a 2008 gray Mazda 3, set on fire and left. And then after that, all of them drive to Kenneth Hall Hospital. They make sure that money is really split properly.
Check my math. Hold on, you saying what? 390.
One for you, one for you, one for you.
Niggas probably
two for you,
listen,
two for you.
They probably was like, okay, what is 100, 100. Okay, then we got this 90.
Okay, if I have 20 and then I have 2 10s, and then if I do a 10, a 5, and shit, what's that math?
Fuck. So you got 2 5s and you got 1 10. That's the same amount. Hold on.
Just give me a second. Let me think. They go, and DeMarcus and LaTosha, I guess Daquan was like, this is too much activity for me for one day.
Still trying to figure out if he got the eyebrows. He keep looking in the mirror.
It was too much for Daquan for one day. Now, DeMarcus and LaTosha, they all together with Daquan. DeMarcus is wearing his Florida Gator hoodie. Now, Daquan is still sitting in the car, probably still in shock. And LaTosha sends DeMarcus to the ATM because we got some cards to get some money off of. He goes, he puts the card in, takes it out, puts the card in. He's like, damn, this shit not working. LaTosha looks, she comes out of the car. She said, you dummy. You put the card in backwards. That's why it's not working.
It's a tough bunch right here.
And so she puts the card in properly and asks for a pin. I'm sure they have her wallet, right? Like, I think I would try birthday. I would try, like, the street number. I would try to figure something out, but nothing works. Nothing works. And so LaTosha's like, you know how you fix this? You just got to call the bank. And we got her personal info in her wallet right here. So if we just call the bank and we act like we're her, little old lady don't know her pin.
Which one of you niggas sound like an 85-year-old Japanese woman?
Please, my stomach hurts.
As we're doing an identity verification, they probably asking for a middle initial. You can't even pronounce it.
You just need the
what
initial,
is your
baby.
brother's name? Messiah. What's your security key? It's your dad's name. They probably sitting there. Hold on. Let me take this back. Hold on.
They got the zip code.
Listen, they like, okay, your security question is your dad's name. They like, Takisaburo. Like, come on. Please.
Be so for real. Be so for real. And they're like, dang, this car must be frozen or something. Like, what is happening?
It's a security lock, my boy.
And so finally, Daquan is like, man, this has been a day. Can somebody just take me back home? They take Daquan back home, and they go ahead and pick up Brittany. DeMarcus like, pick up my girl. And they riding around like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And they're going for a drive looking for all these ATMs, trying ATM after ATM.
As if a different one. You ain't doing nothing but flagging the motherfucking system. That card is on high alert.
And then they're calling the bank back to back, trying to get this pin. They're like, we need to figure out the pin and check the balance. And they're trying to figure it out. And Brittany is like, what the fuck are we rolling around at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, going from this ATM to that ATM? And finally, they pulled over to get some gas, and they were able to swipe her card to get gas. I think they got $65 in gas. And finally, Brittany looked over and said, who card y'all got? Don't worry about that.
Yes, too many questions.
It's dumb. We don't even, which, if I was Brittany, I would appreciate you asking me not to worry. You right. I don't want to know. I don't want to know a damn thing. Okay, they get the gas, right? The gas was $62.60 exactly. And then they tried.
They said, so it's money on that thing, ain't it?
And then they said, okay, well, maybe we should just swipe the card here at the gas station. They swiped the card again for $42. Card declined. You know, sometimes, depending on the gas station, depending on where you are, you can only swipe a card one time within a time frame. At least, I don't know, it hasn't happened to me recently, but it has happened to me before where they're like, you got to wait a couple minutes. And I'm like,
I've never heard of that.
It's happened to me maybe once or twice. And they're like, just wait 10 minutes.
No, I'm gone.
Yeah. So again, they're calling and nothing happened. Finally, Tasha's like, man, I'm over this shit. Just get rid of the damn card. Just get rid of it. We got gas. Fuck it. We don't want this. We don't want this coming back on us. No traces, no paper trail, no phone calls, no nothing. Just get rid of the card.
The next morning, Yoko's burnt car was found by Special Agent Chris Blair. He was assigned to the Metro East Auto Theft Task Force. And he just happens to find this car here. Maybe somebody called in the smoke or whatever.
If he's on the task force for auto theft, he probably is very aware of this place and goes and checks it often.
He was probably looking there for somebody else's stolen vehicle. And then sees this car that is recently burnt up and says,
tow it.
That doesn't look like that belongs here. He finds this car literally the day after the murder. Now, without searching for the car, he's like, let me get a tow truck out here. Somebody's shit missing. It don't belong up here. Let's go. Somebody done abandoned their car, whatever they did, whatever. Now, when the tow truck comes, the tows just got to look for a couple of personal items or whatever, because they trying to send a bill to somebody, you know? They back up for keeping your car on the impound. Oh, you want this car back?
If it's also on the task force, they're probably assuming that, and he's an officer, they probably are towing it to the tow yard that has a governmental contract. And they're probably just be like, hey, Miss Taz, are you missing your car today?
Right.
Guess what? We found it. You have no car anymore.
And so they're just doing a basic search to get it back to the tow yard. When they open the trunk, they find a burnt body. They're like, oh, shit.
That is not what we were expecting.
Maybe a purse, maybe an ID, not a person. So they immediately declare this a crime scene, and they get a forensic pathologist, Raj Naduri, out to collect the body and begin on the autopsy. So then we're on the morning of May 20th, 2011. It's a Friday morning. It's 2 days after the murder, and Yoko's family has now reported her missing. You know, it's been 2 days since she's been missing, so the investigation can now start. They don't really have any leads, though. Who would want to hurt this woman? This woman, 85 years old. What do you mean who would want to hurt her? She don't do nothing but mind her business and play bingo. She spent time with her family. And then, yeah, she plays bingo. She's not out here making enemies. She has no ties. So without many leads, the police go and check her bank account, you know? She banked with Chase. And after calling the bank, the police learned that there have been several attempts made to use her car on May 19th and May 20th, all unsuccessful because of an incorrect PIN number. The bank also told them that someone had made several phone calls to the bank account about Yoko's bank card.
Several. More than a few.
So then the police traced these calls, and several calls are linked to DeMarcus and Erica Barnes.
They even used Brittany's phone once.
They also have it linked to LaTosha Cunningham, because they're making the calls from their cell phones. And as of right now, these names do not mean much. They go by the family. You know, LaTosha come in? No. You know, DeMarcus, you know, Erica? No, we don't. They're like, we don't know no connection, but we see that LaTosha has a violent past. So we're going to go ahead and call her our prime suspect.
Now, they're moving very quickly on this case. By Saturday, May 21st, they say that this is a major case, and they have questioned several persons of interest in connection to the body found in the burnt trunk of a car. At this point, they haven't positively ID'd anybody. Like, they're doing this autopsy, but she was burned so badly that they had to take their time to really make sure that they had a correct ID of this person. Captain Jeff Wild will go on to say that he was confident that his detectives could solve this case and solve the case swiftly. Yoko's family, they know that she's missing, but they don't know for sure that her body was found in East St. Louis. But after the police had that news conference on Saturday, I guess, you know, as family, you kind of like, you know. And so they all get together and they're just trying to comfort one another, and they're waiting to hear if this body could be their beloved mom, grandma, great-grandmother. Like, they're trying to make sure they're all worried together. The police are talking to Yoko's family, and they asked them, like, hey, until we know for sure what's going on, try not to speak to the public. It's not that we don't want the public to know. We also are looking for the person that might have done this. We don't want to tip anybody off, and we want to make sure 100%. Last thing we would want is for you to talk to the media and it not be her body. So just hold off for just a moment. The only quote that I could find about somebody speaking on Yoko's family or family behalf is literally a neighbor saying, I'm going to respect the family's wishes and not comment. By the end of the workday on Saturday, detectives interviewed Yoko's family members, and they gave a lot of insight about her whereabouts. I mean, the same thing that we know. She be at bingo. It's Wednesday night. She was supposed to be at bingo. She loved it, and that is where she was. So they continue to canvass the neighborhood. They go over to the bingo hall to talk to the people that be at the bingo hall, and they're like, is there anybody weird? Anybody that we should look into? Anybody that is kind of off-putting? And the name LaTosha comes up again. And so they find out where LaTosha is, and they're just posted up, watching, waiting to make a move.
Later that same day, it's now the early morning hours of Sunday, and LaTosha's car is found by a patrol officer on duty near LaTosha's home. Detective Marcos Polito met her on May 20th at her house and asked her to come down to the station to be interviewed. This interview is taking place 3 days after the murder. I don't know if they let LaTosha go down there by herself. Maybe she wasn't under arrest yet and had a little bit of freedom or whatever. But LaTosha, she later calls Daquan. Now, before they even got to Tasha, they got to DeMarcus. And they picked DeMarcus up. And so LaTosha called Daquan and was like, listen, they done got DeMarcus. Can he hold his water? And Daquan said DeMarcus was a grown-ass man and he gonna do what he gonna do.
I know that's right. Don't ask me about nobody else but myself.
I'd have been like, what the hell does that mean? He gonna do what he gonna do. Are we good or we not good?
Can he hold his water? I'd rather...
The thing is, now it's too late to be asking these questions. It's too late to be getting this type of information.
You don't even know Daquan like that. Daquan really could be somebody that can't hold his water, but you don't know him like that. You barely know DeMarcus like that.
Yeah.
But you probably know that DeMarcus a little off his rocker and DeMarcus been in the pen. So you at least know that you can at least be like, all right, DeMarcus, you know how to shut the fuck up. But there's this 18-year-old who's
she's talking to Daquan and she's asking, can DeMarcus hold his water?
Oh.
And Daquan said DeMarcus was a grown man.
Listen, DeMarcus has been here before. So Daquan was probably like, listen, DeMarcus been locked up. He know how it go.
You know what to do. So she gets to the station and she's questioned by Detective Marcos Polito. And he's a member of the Major Case Squad. And she's also questioned by Detective Collins from Bellevue PD. And her first interview starts at about 3 a.m. She is Mirandized. And she signs a waiver, and the interview was videotaped and recorded. They're like, do you know Yoko? She said, Yoko? No, I don't know Yoko.
I don't know Yoko. No Yoko in the hood.
Not from where I'm from. They said, have you seen this Mazda? Mazda? No, I ain't seen no Mazda. Do you frequent the bingo shop? I mean, I bingo time to time. They was like, well, listen, bitch.
Everybody around here bingo.
We got you calling about this bank card going to ATM at the ATM at the ATM, and the bank card got Yoko's name on it.
Huh?
Nah, I did not use no bank cards. I did not use Yoko's bank card. I didn't do that. And they was like, listen, we got surveillance. We've got a trace phone. We know you was using them bank cards. She said, I didn't. How you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me I was there? You wasn't there, I was there. I never put no bank card in no ATM that wasn't mine. You see? And they really like, girl, we know you. You're not above robbery. Cause you done did that already.
You ain't above trying to take somebody out.
Cause you done did
for
that
a small
already.
amount of money.
And it was like, so I don't know who you think you fooling. She said, listen, y'all, I'm not feeling too good. My blood pressure spiking. Y'all stressing me out. My head hurting. I feel a little dizzy. She said, all right. We're going to call the paramedics for you. Paramedics come, they take her to the hospital. She's released later that day, but not on her own accord. They take her back to custody. Bellevue, she's ready for you. And Bellevue PD comes and picks her back up. It's now 13 hours later at 6:39 p.m., and they begin her second interview. Detective Polito, Detective Orlando Ward from East St. Louis PD, they're there to speak to her.
Oh, I bet she's so hungry. I would be. Because you know you don't eat that first 24 hours.
The detective says she didn't appear to be sick. She did not ask for a lawyer, and she did not refuse to talk to detectives. They read her rights. They give her a waiver to sign, and they start again. I'm telling y'all, I don't know no Yoko. I ain't used no bank cards. I ain't seen no Mazda. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all stress me out. I don't like this. She begins to get emotional. She's getting upset. She's getting worked up. I'm tired of being here. Y'all done started with me at 3 a.m. We done passed 3 a.m., you know? Like, I'm tired. I want to go home. I don't know what you talking about. I didn't do it. I said, if you're tired, we're going to give you a little break. They leave the room for a little bit. They come back. The detectives decide to tell LaTosha that DeMarcus and Daquan have already implicated her. They're like, listen here, baby girl. You doing all this standing 10 toes, doing all... We know.
We got somebody that already said it.
DeMarcus, Daquan, they both pointing fingers at you. But you over here trying to deny. You lie until you die. Deny. She said, listen, I'm telling you, I don't know. Detective Polito gets a little upset. He loses his cool. He said, God damn it, you know what the hell you're talking about. You use those bank cards. You set that lady on fire. You put her in that trunk. You did it. They was like, maybe you want to step outside for a second, detective? He says, maybe I do. He steps outside for a second.
Tag somebody else in.
Says, you gotta take a breather. He's sick of his lies. He said, you done lied to me all day. Ain't you sick of lying? I'm sick of hearing your lies. You not sick of lying? Detective Ward comes in, talks to LaTosha, asks her some questions. Now, when Detective Ward's in the room, he's playing good cop. He's urging LaTosha, just come clean. You got kids. Be an example to your kids. You're gonna want them to do the right thing. You know it's better for you if you're honest. There's going to come a time where you need to make a deal. You've got to fight for your life. And what you do now is going to determine that outcome. You could maybe have a chance to see your kids again, or you could not. It all depends on how you play things right here, right now. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't ask to end the interrogation, but she doesn't say anything.
Now they have a third interview with her after some time. And I'm sure she's sitting there thinking about, I cannot believe that they said something. So she decides that she's going to sprinkle the truth in with a little bit of a story this time. She's like, okay, here's what I'm willing to say. I know DeMarcus. He be dating my niece or whatever. But I don't know Daquan. I was at the Walmart parking lot and I saw DeMarcus. He was with Daquan. And we were all there because, we had to pick up some money from a person. And this person never showed up. So we all got back in the car and we headed towards East St. Louis. And on the way back, I saw that there was a lady on the side of the road, looked like she was having mechanical issues. And I drove by and I said, oh my goodness, it's a little old lady. Maybe I should be a good Samaritan. I got these two able-bodied men in the car. I said, we should go help this little old lady. So I turned around, pull up. Excuse me, ma'am, do you need any help? And she's talking about her brakes or whatever. And maybe the little old lady name was Yoko. You said Yoko. I mean, she was a little Asian lady. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know her name. And while the guys are helping Daquan, I hear him say, quote, yeah, I like this bitch. And I took it as like, oh, meaning not as like, oh, I like this little old lady. More like, oh, I like this crime of opportunity that I'm going to take advantage of. And the guys, they asked for tire jacks out of her car. And after they do that, the guys are like, don't worry about it, LaTosha. We got it from here. We'll find our way home. You go ahead and leave. So I leave. So I'm driving. And then when I'm on the highway, I'm on 55, 70, and I pass the car that I just saw the guys working on, and I see the guys driving the car. So I call them, ring, ring, ring. What are y'all doing? Hey, man, follow us. She's like, and so I did. I followed them to the 11th Street and Falling Springs Drive, you know, where they leave the abandoned cars. And when we get out, it was Daquan. Daquan started beating Yoko with a tire iron. Daquan was trying to ask her for her pen. And I got so scared. I was so shooken up. I just ran back to my car. Now, I should have drove away. I should have just left. I should have called 911, but I didn't. But I wasn't around to hit nobody. And I watched them hit her. And afterwards, they asked me for a ride to the BP across the street. And so I said, okay, sure, I'll just ride y'all to the BP. I know it was wrong, but just like, I was kind of scared at that point, almost stunned. And it was DeMarcus that told me and Daquan that we needed to burn everything for the evidence. Now, the investigators asked LaTosha, why didn't you help Yoko? And she's like, listen, DeMarcus and Daquan, they stole some money from her. I took a little bit of money. I took a little bit of money from them, okay? So I'm just trying to make sure that I keep it cute, because clearly they're capable of some things. So I'm just trying to make sure that I am not the next Yoko. You said her name was Yoko, right? Yeah, Yoko. And the detectives are like, so you never used that card? No, never used the card. They're like, okay, well, damn, here's a picture of you at the ATM using the card. What do you have to say about that? She's like, She started getting real quiet. So everybody was arrested, obviously, and investigators continued their investigation because, like the chief promised, this is really looking like a very swift case.
Well, after the arrest, LaTosha's car was searched in an attempt to collect more evidence. They find the tire irons with blood on them. The blood is determined to be Yoko's blood. One tire iron has a fingerprint that belongs to Daquan. Surveillance video requested from the BP gas station shows Daquan buying a gas container and putting gas in it. LaTosha and DeMarcus are seen standing next to the car while he did that. They even bring Brittany Stevenson in to get interviewed, and she tells the detectives, yeah, I did see LaTosha with Yoko's credit card on May 19th. And on this same day, I did hear LaTosha and DeMarcus talking about ATMs and PIN numbers that would not work. That's all I know. They told me to mind my business. I minded my business.
Because you won't catch me being a part of some shit, okay?
They were each held on a $3 million bail. It was like, just don't expect to come out. In a press conference, the police say that the three accused acted in the spur of the moment. They said it was a crime of opportunity. She was carjacked and taken to East St. Louis, where she was then murdered. They said it was very obvious that this crime was not planned. And they also said that this one was a tough one for us, as they all are. But an 85-year-old victim makes it tougher. Because, like, you're going after those who are, like, the weaker end of the community. The kids and the elderly, like... You chose somebody who couldn't give a fair fight. Vulnerable, that's the word.
That woman is 85 years old.
85 years old. It's now the next day, a Monday, and all three of them were arraigned for first-degree murder charges. Now, when LaTosha had her charges read against her, my girl fainted. She passed out.
No, that girl made a scene. She did more than just faint.
She came to, and she started... Oh, she started heaving like she was gonna throw up, Lord. Nothing came out, but she ran
to the trash can like she was going to.
Nothing coming up. Y'all, they had to wheelchair her out of there. They had to wheel her out.
Have you seen the picture of her in a wheelchair?
With that little thing in front of her?
Yes, with her little notebook.
What the hell happened to her? I said, how you go from carjacking and murdering somebody to being wheeled out of court?
Come on now.
Sitting there with her little folder in front of her head. Nobody look at me, please. Don't be shamed now. Because Miss Yoko was burned alive, there were not any remains to bury. Her family was given a ceremonial funeral procession on June 27th of 2011 from the George Renner and Sons Funeral Home to the St. Henry Catholic Church. They had a service for her, and they called it a Mass of Christian Burial. and her obituary listed her burial at the Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery.
Now they're getting ready to
take that shit to trial, bitch. Take that shit to trial, bitch. Take that shit to trial, bitch. Take that shit to trial.
a month before LaTosha is set to go to trial. Daquan is like, you know what? I'm just going to plead guilty. Like, he confesses. He tells them everything that they want to know. He talks about how the three of them split the money found in Yoko's purse. They only got like $130 each. And in his plea, he has to testify against everybody. And he's hoping that this deal that he makes is going to give him a lighter sentence. He confesses it all. He tells everything about how they planned the murder. They hit her with the tire irons, the entire story. And he's hoping that this will help him get a lighter sentence. He does his plea. He stands in front of the judge. The judge says, yeah, okay, I'm giving you 60 years without the possibility of parole. That's a hard sentence for taking a plea. Now, DeMarcus, girl, DeMarcus was in them folks' chambers acting up. DeMarcus was acting up for real. And DeMarcus was found mentally unfit to stand trial. When this happens, DeMarcus has to go and be institutionalized for a year. And they hope that within this year, he'll be rehabilitated and be able to withstand trial. Jump ahead. He comes back a year later. My man's still is not able to stand trial. And he's
been institutionalized since.
Basically indefinitely, officially 80 years. Because like, I think they were like, we can't say he did it because he didn't have a trial. But y'all know. And we know. We can't say it. But you hear me? And so he is in the mental hospital as of today. Throughout all of this pre-trial is a lot of pushing paper, negotiation, a lot of mumbo jumbo. And during the pre-trial motions on April 16th, 2012, her lawyer, Thomas Q. Keefe III, filed a motion to suppress her statement, including the videotape confession she gave to the detectives. And basically, she's saying that I have the right to remain silent. When I was being quiet, that was me invoking my right to be silent. But they kept talking to me. And they violated my Miranda right because I was silent. The judge that's hearing all this pretrial stuff, this is Judge Michael N. Cook. Now, the defense is saying that this video should not be admitted. And the judge is like, nah, you can admit this. LaTosha is not feeling her lawyer, so she puts in a motion to get a new lawyer. And she does get a new lawyer. His name is Robert Bass. After this, scandal happens. The judge, Judge Cook, he's removed from this case. He's also removed from all of his cases. Want to know why? Because he mostly does drug court. And he was found out to be a big cocaine and heroin addict, which is a huge conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So much so that there have been people coming back and saying, you know, this man was clearly high during my trial. I mean, my man's just falling asleep at the bench. Couldn't stay focused while hearing all these cases and putting people away for drugs while he's kind of running like a high-end exclusive clientele, heroin and cocaine cartel. My man's only gets 2 years for this.
I'm sure.
My thing is like, if you are the judge putting people away for drugs and you are doing extremely hard drugs and selling and
they need to throw the book at you.
They need to throw the book at you hard because now everything you've done in your career has come into question. And so now a new judge, Judge Robert Haida, was assigned. And the trial officially begins on October 7th, 2013. In St. Clair County, the state attorney is Brendan Kelly. And of course, that defense counsel is our new counsel, Thomas Q. Keefe III. The prosecutor alleges that LaTosha is the mastermind behind everything. They're saying like, okay, yeah, we do have her taped confession, but we do also see that there's half-truths in here because none of it really makes sense. You witnessed an old lady get beat with a tire iron and you did not call the police, but instead you took her money and started trying to find ways to get her money off her card. That doesn't sound like somebody that's innocent. That doesn't sound like a bystander. They said, quote, no innocent person would have anything to do with the proceeds of such a diabolical crime. And they even lay out how it was even possible for them to target Yoko. LaTosha is the main one that goes to play bingo. Yoko be up in there racking it up in bingo. And so she clearly was the one that said, there's our target. There's the likeliness of them randomly running into Yoko is still very, very low, even if Yoko lives close.
Mm-hmm.
The likeliness on a Wednesday, but the likeliness of you following Yoko outside of the fireman's hall and stalking her, maybe doing something to her car because you've seen her before. I don't know. I made that part up.
It's a lot more probable.
You know, Shane Lively, the Madison County coroner, testifies that Yoko is still alive when that fire starts. And Shane can tell because her trachea is coated with soot, meaning she was breathing that in the entire time. And I feel like even if it almost makes me feel like it wasn't, that was like shallow breaths almost dying. Like I feel like that's why I feel like she played dead because she was really able to breathe. And it was a lot of soot. Like she was breathing that in for a while. The pathologist, Raj Naduri, testified that he found no evidence of any other injuries, just that blunt force trauma and that soot in her lungs. Roger Smith, the chief deputy coroner, testified that her death was ruled a homicide. Detective Pulido testified about his interrogations with LaTosha, about how frustrated he got with her shit and how she was lying to him back to back to back. Okay. LaTosha's defense argued that the stipulated evidence presented was insufficient to find her guilty, other than the word of another criminal that told you that he did it, and a man that y'all put away in the mental institution. Sounds like everybody's conspiring against me. That's what she said. She also decided to do a bench trial, which people always say is a good idea, but I haven't seen it come out at all because she thinking people conspiring against her. And the judge said, I think I'm going to find you guilty. How about that? How you like them apples? That state is very interesting in their law because they found her guilty of first-degree murder by accountability due to the robbery. So a lot of other states may call it felony murder, like something happened in the commission of a felony.
Mm-hmm.
But because of her accomplices and them being around and them getting first-degree murder, like, well, Daquan getting full first-degree murder, she too gets first-degree murder. And she waits for her sentencing.
On December 10th, 2013, she is sentenced to 60 years for kidnapping and murder, and she is not eligible for parole.
Oh, my goodness.
And after she is released, she will have 3 years of probation on top of that. So they pretty much matched her sentence to Daquan, who pleaded.
Which, like,
You feel like Daquan got the short end now? Because how I plead and get the same thing?
hell yeah, a little bit. At least I would do like that other case if I was Daquan. Be like, all right, she's behind bars. Y'all gonna resentence me or what?
Mm-hmm.
Can a nigga get 35? Like, that's what I would ask.
On January 9th of 2014, she filed a motion to reconsider her sentence and said that the court did not consider any mitigating factors such as her remorse and her character. The motion was denied on April 2nd of 2014.
What remorse? What character? Girl.
I'm obviously a good person.
Says who?
I obviously made some mistakes.
We see that.
I obviously was just hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Again?
And got caught up
Again?
in something that wasn't really my fault.
Girl.
I did not kill anybody.
Girl.
They killed the person. I just robbed her. Let's talk about the robbery. That's all I did was rob her. I didn't kill nobody.
That's what she say. And she is standing on it till this day. And you also had, I mean, she's like, look who I'm working with. They didn't even know how to put the ATM card into the ATM machine properly.
Like, come on. LaTosha filed an appeal in 2017 and argued that her voluntary confession should be suppressed because she invoked her right to silence and investigating officers didn't honor her request. Oh, baby, You have to actually invoke it, not through action, but through a verbal invokement.
Yeah, you do have to say, I would like to remain silent. I would like a lawyer.
The state
This interview is over.
The state argues that the defendant failed to unambiguously invoke her right to remain silent, and thus continuing on with the questioning, she waived her constitutional right to silence. After her appeal, she filed a pro se post-conviction petition that argued her due process right had been violated because Judge Cook had been asleep at times during the hearing.
Was on drugs.
She said she told her lawyer then, Thomas Keefe, but he brushed her off and said that the judge was paying attention.
And that's why she wanted
be afraid to go against a judge.
But I'm telling you, this man put so many people away, and a lot of people were getting new sentences or getting new trials because of my man's was on drugs. You couldn't even keep it together on the bench. He probably was like, this shit boring as hell.
She said,
when you on cocaine and you like, man, I really wish I could be doing something right now, but I guess I'll sit here.
Or even if you're not on cocaine, probably like pills and shit, just be like,
I think that heroin do it to you.
Knock you out, you be afloat on. She said that she also told her trial counsel, Bass, but he refused to make a proper complaint to the courts. And to support these, she wrote a letter to the Judiciary Inquiry Board and claimed that Judge Cook had been using coke and heroin, and it affected his judgment and ability to perform his judicial duties.
And he had already approved this taped confession while he was high, so high.
She also attached newspaper articles that reported Judge Cook's resignation after he was charged and convicted for having guns and drugs, and did 2 years in prison for that. She said, told you I wasn't lying, this nigga was on drugs.
They know.
The paper say he was on drugs. I say he was on drugs. Why we acting like this man wasn't on drugs?
Here we go. He got kicked off of my case because his federal criminal trial was about to begin. Illinois didn't want that smoke. Mm-mm. They were very picky about what cases they overturned of his, which I think is very unfair, because if this man was really doing that,
I mean, you got to be picky.
You got to be picky, but I mean, shoot, best believe if he did my trial, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I'm at least try.
She successfully argued pro se, and the petition was moved to the next stage where she was appointed a counsel. Van Leer P. Eckert was now representing her. And he argued that she was denied due process and equal protection. He also added that one of the investigating officers on this case was connected to the drug ring that eventually led to Judge Michael Cook's arrest and conviction. So it's dirty all up and through there. The circuit court considered their arguments, but ultimately decided that the defendant's petition should be dismissed because it was filed untimely.
2.5 years late, girl. 2.5 years late.
They appealed that decision, and the Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of LaTosha, and they vacated the judgment of the St. Clair County Circuit Court. I think she's still in process of getting resentenced or getting a new trial. I don't know. I couldn't find any information about what happened after they revoked the sentence or whatever, but she is still in jail. And 4 months ago, Stories from the Penitentiary on YouTube made a YouTube video where he read a 4-page handwritten letter that LaTosha sent to him. She talks about having kids and grandkids, and she goes on to say that she was innocent and she was convicted on false charges, and how she didn't actually kill nobody. So why is she in jail for murder? And it's unfair because there's a lot of people in that jail who are in there for violent crimes, but nothing she did was actually really violent. She was not the killer.
Just wrong place at wrong time.
She with wrong folk, and they was violent, not her. So they should have got convicted of that, and she should have got her own sentence. She is housed at the Logan Correctional Center for Women, and that is the story of LaTosha Cunningham.
All right, y'all. It's time for...
Well, I'm not black. I'm OJ.
I ain't do it, but if I did, this is how I would have got away with it. You can't shit where you eat. Like, people see you at the pool hall. They see you playing bingo. They know you be there. They know Yoko be there. If you know that she be there every Wednesday, you know that her family's expecting her to come home every Wednesday, and they know exactly where she been and where she's coming from. Bad choice.
I ain't do it. But if I did, you might want to trust your crew before you build that crew.
Yeah.
How you after the fact talking about, can they hold water?
You should know.
You got to test smaller secrets before you
Do a big one like
do
that.
a big secret. Murder's too big a secret to be worrying about if somebody gonna keep it or not, okay? What else? She fucked up a lot.
Yeah, she did.
I ain't do, but if I did, pick on somebody your own size.
Yeah.
Why you, every time you just preying on the feeble. Pick on somebody your own size. I ain't do it, but if I did.
And why you think that they got money anyways? Most old folks is on a fixed income. That ain't much. She probably going to bingo just to make the light bill. I mean, and even she won $60 at bingo. It cost you $62 to fill up that tank. It's not like she's winning big money.
Right.
Yoko must have brushed past her one time wrong at the bingo hall and then had the nerve to win.
I had another one. What was it? If. And this is the big if, because why are we doing this? I ain't do it, but if I did, I'm not calling the bank to ask for help breaking into somebody else's bank account. And I'm damn sure not doing it from my own phone. Okay? The two of y'all.
I feel like even after the first call, you know that you don't have all of the information, right? Did they just keep calling and asking and trying to figure out the security question? Because what do they ask when you call? They ask for the last four of your social. They might ask for your the address
on
that's
a card or account
file.
number.
And it may be that Yoko has gotten so old that her daughter has taken over most of her finances. And it may be that Wednesday night is just her thing, but her daughter does most of the stuff. So it could be that the address on her ID is not the address that her cards are under. And so you keep calling back to back to back, and you wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. If it didn't work the first time,
or the second or the third,
and maybe the zip code was wrong. She's like, I know this lady live a mile away from me, so the zip codes around me are this, and this. We're gonna call back all these times, and we're gonna find it.
It don't make no sense, Lord.
Let me find out. I ain't do it, but if I did, girl, she ain't see your tags long enough. She probably ain't had no phone to take no picture. Maybe she would have remembered partial plates. If you don't go home and go to the DMV tomorrow, hurry up and get you some new plates. Or steal some plates from somebody else. Something.
What you should have did, if you was going to be worried about that, you should have taped up your plates to begin with.
There you go.
Peel them off. Turn them into new letters. Whatever you got to do.
Put the little security shield on it or something.
Handle that on the front end.
If you know you doing hot stuff randomly, it just needs to be already on there.
Oh, you know what I've always wanted? You know, on Taxi, when Queen Latifah was evading the police and then she changed her tags, I said, boy, I could use me one of them on the highway. I'll be all up and through them tolls. They be like, this car is we don't know who it's registered to, but they are racking it up. It's me. Fuck y'all.
I ain't do it, but if I did, I feel like you gotta give a little more like thought and care and consideration to your children.
Absolutely. You left a lot behind.
Your first pregnancy is when you did that 9-year bid. That was supposed to be 18 years, but you did that 9-year bid. Then you have a son. And then your third pregnancy, you're starting or doing this bid. Then while she's in county jail, she's in county for this crime. And her son is like 20 years old. He gets shot and killed at a basketball game out at the park. Somebody came out of nowhere. He was on the phone, getting distracted, texting his girl. And so while everybody was running, he didn't see that everybody was running, got shot in the head. So like, you never know when your last moment with your family is going to be. Why don't you do good decisions so that you can be out to be with them?
And it was kind of odd listening to her talk about it because she was just like, that really hurt me, losing my son like that. That was hard. Like,
It really
how
hurt.
do you think the loss of these people, like, you almost took this woman's life. Y'all did take this woman's life. Like, as much as you value your son's life, somebody else values another. Like, you've got to.
You got to think about it. There's
And
a
I'm not
cycle.
saying that anybody deserved it, but you treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah,
you don't
you never know when
disrespect
you're gonna
nobody's
get that
life.
karma back, and it may not be you, but it may be your son to impact you. You know, you just never know. So be better. I ain't do it, but if I did, why y'all riding around it? Why y'all got Brittany riding at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning? Y'all shouldn't even put her in the car. Good thing y'all didn't implicate her in this crime, but I wouldn't even have Brittany in the car. Brittany like, shh, I'll tell you what happened. This all I know. Cause
Me, mind of mine. What can I say?
and she's dating DeMarcus. DeMarcus got put in a mental hospital. Listen, I am just a girl. I am just a girl.
Could you imagine? There's those that try to hold niggas down in prison. But do y'all be trying to hold niggas down in a mental institution?
I don't hold nobody down. That is a rule of mine. If you, first of all, I am not messing with anybody that has prison potential. And if you do get locked up and it's something real stupid, like burglary, robbery, murder, don't call me. Don't call me. Don't call me. Don't call me. Because I'm going to see what you did. I'm going to go on the DOC website and see what you did. And I'm be like, I think the only thing you could do is like driving with a suspended license because you racked up too many speeding tickets. I'll hold you down for a month. So they figure that out. That's about all you get from me.
You know, you got those. They might get a little DUI. They might.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
What if you got a marijuana DUI?
I might.
Understandable.
That could have been me, okay? If it's a crime that I would have gotten in trouble for, I can see how. But at this point, when I was that young, not at this age. Not this. We're too grown. All my friends got kids, including me.
Listen, what I'm starting to notice, I was talking to my cousin. I said, everybody just making these mistakes at an old ass age, bro. Like you hit this certain age and you be like, that's behind me. But because niggas ain't got caught yet, they still doing the same old shit and it don't be behind them, you know?
And then all of a sudden you're getting caught at 32 for something that you've been doing since you were 18. But in reality, you should have stopped doing it because you're 32. You know, like somebody told me, they were like, Marab, you're old enough and you've never been arrested. At this point, you're not going to be arrested. And if you are arrested at this point, you probably did something real bad. I was like, that's really interesting because most people get the stupid stuff out of their system very young if they get caught, you know. All right, let's go ahead and read some reviews. All right, this comment comes from YouTube and it says, my ` podcast of the year. The video on Spotify was so cute. Happy to be a part of the 0.09% of SWK listeners. It's been another great year with you too.
That's what I'm talking about. 0.09%, like
up there.
Elite.
With the girls.
This review says, shout out to the Black-owned business. I'm in Philly and I'm having fibroid surgery in March. Right on time to get more info. That's right, guys. Book your ads. The people are listening.
Yes, they are. Now, here's the part of the show where we tell you where you can follow us. I got a YouTube. I got a Twitter. I got a TikTok. I got a Facebook. I got all the places to find the girls. SistasWhoKill. That's where we go. SistasWhoKill podcast. SistasWhoKill podcast. All right. And got a Facebook discussion group. Come in there. It's quite a hoot. No, that's where you can find us. You can also shop SistasWhoKill. Shop SistasWhoKill. Patreon.com/SistasWhoKill. It is a thrill. Go, go, go. Anything else, my friend?
Talk to us. We talk back.
Hey, talk to us. We talk back. Hey,
Talk to us. We talk back.
hey, talk to us. We talk back. Hey, bye.